David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another review. Today I have for you something which I have grown to anticipate every 3 months, and that would be the seasonal rollerball release from Tactile Turn. On a quarterly basis for the last couple of years, they've released a new limited run design, and so far, in my opinion, most have been fantastic and really hit the mark in regard to a quality pen with a unique theme and design. While I do use fountain pens as much as possible, I am not a fountain pen snob. There are many situations where a rollerball or ballpoint or gel pen or even a pencil is the right tool for the job. I do carry around a Retro 51 in my Hobonichi every day, and I typically keep one of the previous seasonal releases from Tactile Turn sitting on my desk for when I need to write something down on some non-fountain pen friendly paper. I typically rotate through a few of them. Lately, I've been using this one here. This one's called the GT. I really like the blue and orange color scheme of this one. But you're not here for this pen. You want to see the new one, which is called Deep Space. And it is right here in this box. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of the Tactile Turn Deep Space, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some size comparisons, as well as provide a quick writing sample. Thanks go out to the good folks at the Texas-based Tactile Turn for providing the pen you will see today for review. In regard to how these seasonal releases work, these are not limited editions. Rather than a limited number of pens being produced, they are available for a set period of time, typically around a month. They will be continually produced during that time and then retired, not to be produced again. I like that with the last few seasonal releases, Tactile Turn has begun to customize the boxes to match the theme of the pen. They also include something I think is very cool, which is this commemorative metal card. I don't know if it's just glaring off of the lights. I'll show it to you in the writing sample and the size comparisons. But it's a really cool metal card that has the name of the pen and a bit of text talking about the inspiration behind the design. It's a really neat addition to having the pen. And speaking of the pen, inside here it is. This is the Tactile Turn Deep Space. The pen is made from titanium and has a custom Cerakote finish and a matte black Cerakote trim. The colorful treatment on this pen really gives the impression of a starry nebula and distant galaxies in space. This is a really interesting application of color. Each of these pens are going to be unique. The base of the barrel is a dark purplish blue that features kind of a smattering of stars and a burst of color. Then there's a top layer that really gives the pen an iridescent shine. I will say that in magnified close-up pictures, the colors do look a bit more splattery, but at a distance where you will always be looking at this pen, the technique really does make the pen resemble Deep Space. It's a really cool look. The pen is based off of Tactile Turn's regular side click model and is available in 3 different sizes. There is Standard, which comes in at 5.8 inches in length. There is Short, which is 5.3 inches. Then there is the Mini, which comes in at 4.6 inches. This is the first time they are offering a seasonal release in both regular and slim side click as well. This is a look at the Standard Slim, which, as the name would imply, is slightly slimmer than the regular model. Let's take a look at the parts of this pen. To begin with, you probably noticed it in previous pictures, but the pen contains large grooves, as do most other Tactile Turn pens. This groove really provides an interesting tactile feeling in the hand, as well as really helps you maintain a solid grip on the pen, regardless of where you prefer to grip it. On the end, we have the knock in matte black. On the side, there is a button which works in conjunction with the knock. You depress the knock to extend the tip and then click the button to have it retract. I will say that on some previous models, I felt the button and knock to be a bit rough at first, like it needed some breaking in before it smoothed up a bit. On this particular model, I didn't notice that. It felt reasonably smooth right from the beginning. And I do find myself playing around with the mechanism, almost like a fidget toy when I use this pen. It's kind of fun to play around with. Then we have the clip in matte black as well. I think that the color choice works well with the outer space theme of this pen. At the top of the clip, there is a screw. On previous models, I've noticed the Cerakote finish obtaining some markings when the screw is actually screwed in, something you typically only see under heavy magnification. With this matte black finish, that torque damage is very, very slight. Engraved at the base of the clip is a satellite, fitting in with the outer space theme. Something I've really always liked about Tactile Turn clips is that underneath it has the company name as well as the year the pen was produced. I think this is a really nice way to brand your pen and have a date on there, basically hiding in plain sight. I also like the decision they made with the engraving. On some of their other previous seasonal releases, they've engraved the clip and then applied the Cerakote finish, so it kind of covered up the engraving and it was a little less visible. It really varied on each model, with some being more visible than others. On this particular model, I believe they applied the Cerakote and then engraved it, exposing the underlying metal. I think it really helps make the engraving pop a bit more and stand out, and it's a little less hidden. I'll show you during the size comparisons, but this model also incorporates what the company is calling their deeper carry clip. Basically, this back portion here is shorter so that the pen can sit deeper in your pocket. It's a minor change incorporated on their previous seasonal model, but it's a nice one, especially on some of the shorter models. The barrel is straight, and then it expands ever so slightly, less than a millimeter, once you reach what I'll call the section of the pen. In regard to ink, the end does twist off, and that the standard pen comes with a Pilot G2 0.7mm refill. The short utilizes a Schmidt Easy Flow 9000 in medium, and the mini is equipped with a mini Pilot G2 0.7mm refill. There are many other refill types which will work with these pens. Tactile Turn has a list of compatible cartridges on their site. There are some which will work without modification and others which require trimming. They have a helpful guide which shows you the exact amount needing to be trimmed. Typically it's just like 1 or 2 millimeters. As I mentioned up top, the Tactile Turn Deep Space is available for a limited time only on the Tactile Turn website. I believe they're available until March 27th. I'll put a link to the site in the notes below. All versions of this pen, regardless of length or thickness, are priced the same. It is $149, which has been the standard price for the seasonal models for quite some time. And I feel it's a reasonable price for what you receive with this pen. It is a quality writing device with a cool and unique theme. I think that Tactile Turn has really done a great job with their seasonal releases, and Deep Space is no exception. Okay, now it is time for some size comparisons and a writing sample. For that, please join me over here at camera 2. Okay, here is the Tactile Turn Deep Space. I just want to give you another closer look at that material. And as I mentioned, when you look at it up close, it does look a little splattery, but then when you look at it just basically from a normal length, that it really does give you that feeling of far distant stars and nebulas and galaxies. It's just really, really cool. In regard, that's also, this was the card that they gave you. I know that that's reflective there, that you can see it nicely here, but I always like the holes that are in it, and I just think it's something nice to accompany the pen. In regard to what it looks like with some of the previous models, now this is basically a quiz whether I can remember the names of all these previous models. There was the Trailhead, then there was the Stealth, and the GT, which I showed earlier. There was the Nautilus, and then there is the Fairway, and then one more, which was the recent one, which was the Nexus. I don't have the first couple of pens that they produced, but I just think that all of the ones that they've been coming out with have been fantastic, and each have their own interesting, unique theme. In regard to some non-tactile turn pens, this is what it looks like with a Retro 51. And then here's what it looks like with a Lamy All-Star. And here it is with a Pilot Metro. Just a quick writing sample here. We have the Tactile Turn, and this is the Deep Space. I really like the G2 cartridge that's in here. It's one of my favorite cartridges. It's just really smooth, and it writes well on a number of different surfaces and sticky notes and things like that I end up writing on a lot. And when it comes to non-fountain pens, it's one of my favorite to use. So there you have the Tactile Turn Deep Space. As I mentioned, I've always been really pleased with what Tactile Turn has done on a quarterly basis. I think this is another winner, and I really look forward to seeing what they come up with in another 3 months. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.